In this video, we're going to take a look at creating the axle pin that goes into our carabiner top and allows for our pin clip to be able to rotate about. So before we get going too far, I want to go ahead and show you, I've still got an active component on the carabiner top. While we're at it, let's go ahead and change the physical material and the appearance of our carabiner top. So I'm going to go ahead and hide. This is the metal section, so let's go ahead and take a look at the plastic. I'm just going to go ahead and choose plastic to drag over, and it's going to give it kind of a white appearance, but looks a little gray. So let me see if we've got maybe a brighter kind of white, an enamel glossy white. There we go. And I can go ahead and save this, and making sure to call this the carabiner top. Now we're going to top down model all three parts in this. We're going to ignore the carabiner spring. In this case, the little spring that fits in there, just for simplicity's sake, and we're going to just worry about doing the clip and the axle pin. So now, when I'm ready to do a new component, we're going to take a look at creating the axle pin. I'm going to go back up to the top level, activate it, and I want to make sure to choose a new component. In the component name, we'll call this axle pin, and we'll say OK. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a new sketch on the YZ plane. Utilizing, I'm going to project the outside edges of my circle, and I'm going to go ahead and choose a center diameter circle, and then right here when it touches and finds the center, I'm going to go ahead and draw out a 0.058 diameter circle. I'm going to finish the sketch, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to extrude this shape. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that circle, and this is going to be a symmetric extrusion, a whole length distance of 0.27, and that's going to go through and kind of help us out. And also, so you're going to notice here's the pin, and it'll kind of stick out just a little bit on the top edge and everything, so we'll be able to see just a little bit of that, but we're going to be able to have that kind of case there. So even then, we could probably drop this down to about 0.25. That looks a little bit better. So we'll go ahead about 1/4 of an inch on that, and that'll be set in there, and I'm going to go ahead and say OK. So this has got our axle pin created. So steel is the default material. I think that's a pretty good choice. And I'm going to go ahead and go up to the top and activate the top level. So now we have that part put in there. To go ahead and to constrain these two together, I'm going to go ahead and choose the joint option. And actually, since I've modeled this as part of the referencing off of the carabiner top, I want to choose the as-built joint. And I'm just going to choose, since I want these to be staying in place, the axle pin. And if I choose the carabiner top, a rigid joint will work just fine. And I can go ahead and say OK. And now if I try to move that axle pin, you'll notice both the carabiner top and everything. I'm going to revert the position back to the origin. And then I'm actually going to right click and I'm going to ground that carabiner top. But if I try to go and try to click and drag any of these parts now, they're not going to move. And that's kind of where we're at with our carabiner top subassembly. Axle pin is added in, and in the next video we're ready to take a look at the pin clip, which will be added into the subassembly to finalize it, and then we can start looking at the final assembly of our carabiner shuttle pin.